The ultralight community is about to be divided. After extensive field testing of pretty much every major piece of ultralight gear on the market, my winners list includes all of the best ultralight items, including 2 sleeping pads that weigh more than the popular favorite, but earn their spots for critical reasons most ultralighters overlook. These are my 2025 Ultralight Gear Awards. The first award is for the best ultralight backpack, and the winner is the Durston Wapta 30. It only weighs 381 grams stripped down with no hip belt, but can still carry 30 pounds comfortably and has great access to items. You have a bottom pocket where I like to keep my snacks, 2 shoulder strap pockets for sunscreen and bear spray, and then side pockets that are really easy to reach back and grab water bottles from. It's really easy to dismiss the Wapta 30 as just another minimalist ultralight pack until you try it out and really realize how refined the design and features of this pack are. If your base weight isn't low enough, or you're going on a week plus long trip and need a little bit more carrying capacity and extra volume, then the Z-Pack's Arc Haul is the way to go. Its frame, hip belt, and larger capacity is gonna allow you to carry more gear and food on those longer trips. It's also a fully featured pack with everything that you need, including a trampoline back in case your back gets a little bit sweaty. It's not the most effective trampoline back, but it's better than nothing. That being said, the Arc Haul is almost twice as heavy as the Wapta 30 and quite expensive, so it's definitely one of those ultralight investments. For the best one-person ultralight tent award, we have the Z-Pack's Plex Solo Light. It's the lightest, fully enclosed tent that you can buy at 334 grams. I really like the single trekking pole design of this tent. It handles weather really well and is roomy enough for me. I can fit inside of here with a bunch of my gear and I don't feel super claustrophobic. But if you are a bigger person, taller person, then you might start feeling a little cramped inside the Plex Solo Light. Other than the size, some people might question the stormworthiness of this tent, but I've had it out in 73km/h winds and it handled that no problem, as well as pretty severe rainstorms. One of my favorite things about this tent is that it's a single wall Dyneema tent, so if you do get condensation on the inside or you have rain on the outside, you can wipe it down using a cloth and then not have to be carrying that extra water weight, which can add up, especially when you're going ultralight. It could be a significant portion of your pack weight. The winner of the best 2-person ultralight tent award is the Durston X-Mid Pro 2 Plus. This tent is very lightweight at only 550 grams, but is wide enough and big enough that you can fit 2 25-inch wide sleeping pads in here and not feel super cramped when you have 2 people. I love the X-Mid design for 3 main things: stormworthiness, space, and then weight. If you're sharing a tent with someone else and you want your combined pack weights to be really low, or you just want something that's a really roomy tent for yourself, then the X-Mid Pro 2 Plus is a great way to go. This is the tent that I bring when I'm sharing a tent with my wife and we want to have as low a weight as possible. On to sleeping pads, with the most popular ultralight sleeping pad being the Thermarest X-Lite, and for good reason. But it has one big flaw that I think makes it so that it's better to go with other options for your ultralight sleep system. The horizontal baffles lead to my arms going numb and falling asleep when sleeping on my side, and I find myself tossing and turning constantly throughout the night. And for that reason, the winner goes to the Nemo Tensor All Season. It's only 530 grams for the regular wide version, so still heavier than the X-Lite, but reasonable and respectable as an ultralight pad. And what I really like about it is that it's quite warm and then has a little bit of extra thickness to it, so you can deflate it a little bit while keeping that warmth and be very comfortable. That being said, it's not the most comfortable sleeping pad on the market. There's much more comfortable options out there, but it's warm enough and light enough to be part of a respectable ultralight kit. An alternative is the Xped Ultra series of sleeping pads, either the 5R or the 3R. They're gonna be a little bit heavier than the Tensor All Season, but are gonna be a lot more comfortable. They have a nice, soft, stretchy top material and then use vertical baffles, which I find a lot more comfortable to sleep on, especially if you're a side sleeper. The Ultra 3R in the regular size is only 365 grams, so quite lightweight, but the square, regular wide version bumps the weight up to over 600 grams, so quite a bit heavier than the Tensor All Season. Also be aware that the mummy-shaped Ultra pads don't really work super well with pillows that have pad straps. And that brings us to the award for the best ultralight pillow, and there's really no competition in this realm. The winner is the Big Sky Ultralight Pillow. This thing only weighs 50 grams, but has a lot going for it. The new updated version has these little loops on the side that allow you to tie a piece of shot cord onto the pillow to use as a pad strap. So you can lock the pillow onto your sleeping pad so you're not having to chase it around the tent over the course of the night. I think pad straps are essential for getting a good night's sleep, especially if you're on less comfortable sleeping pads and you're shifting positions a little bit more often. that's going to lead to your pillow going away if it doesn't have a pad strap. The pillow is also really supportive. It has great baffling, so even though it is essentially just an inflatable piece of TPU, it doesn't feel like you're laying on a balloon. And if you need a little bit of extra warmth or you want some cushion on top of the pillow, then getting the Z-Packs pillow topper is a great option. It does add 75 grams to the entire pillow assembly, but makes it so it's very, very comfortable. In order to round out the sleep system, we have the award for the best top insulation, and the winner is the Z-Packs Solo Quilt. It's made with super lightweight materials and then just has one single piece of cordage in order to lock it onto your pad. There's really only so many ways that you can lighten a bag of down, and Z-Packs has managed to make it as light as you can while still being warm and functional out in the backcountry. I've managed to use this quilt down to about freezing and stayed warm underneath it, which is amazing for something that weighs only 377 grams. Using minimalist footwear during day-to-day life has been almost as big of a game changer for my hiking and backpacking as lightening my pack. It helps strengthen my feet and keep them healthy, and was a switch that I committed to before hiking the Great Divide Trail in 2021. And that's where the sponsor of today's video, Lem's Footwear, comes into play. They make my absolute favorite minimalist shoes. I've been wearing Lems for years before the Great Divide Trail while at work, but buying a couple of extra pairs, so they were what I was wearing pretty much all of the time, made it so that my feet went from being the weak point on long days to where I am now, where I experience almost zero foot discomfort while hiking, even on 40+ kilometer days. I recently picked up the Lems Rugged Chelsea boot, which has this sweet leather upper and then a sole that can handle Canadian winters and weather while still being nice and soft and minimal. Chelsea boots are a mountain staple, and Lems makes the comfiest and, in my opinion, the best looking ones out of all the ones that I've tried, and it's sweet that they also contribute to helping my hiking. Check out the Lems Chelsea boots as well as all of the other footwear that they have down at the link in the video description. For the Best Cook System award, we have an entire system that fits into this Toaks 550 milliliter pot and weighs under 100 grams. It consists of that Toaks 550 milliliter light pot with no handles, and then the Pika lid, which I co-designed with Peak Outdoors. This thing is awesome because it can nest your fuel canister onto it and then also your lighter, and then has a bunch of other cool features. You'll have to check out my video about it in order to really get the full experience. And then inside the pot, we have the stove, which is the BRS 3000. This stove is insane at only 25 grams, yet still quite functional, gets the job done. If you're in wind, you just have to make sure that you're protecting it a little bit, maybe with a pile of rocks or something. I also recommend adding the temperature sticker to your pot. This thing's great because it allows you to heat up your water to only 70 degrees, which based on testing is all you really need to rehydrate a meal. So you end up saving some fuel and really just kind of living that ultralight philosophy. There'll be links in the video description to this as well. And to top it all off, this entire system doesn't cost a lot, especially when you compare it to some of the all-in-one systems from brands like Jetboil or MSR. For the Best Filter award, it's not going to the most ultralight option out there. It's going to what has been, for me, the most reliable option, which is the Platypus Quick Draw. It also filters really fast, which can start saving time if you're really moving, if you're fast packing, or just covering a lot of distance and don't want to be spending multiple minutes stopping and filtering your water. So while this is the best filter option, if you really want to go ultralight, then you got to be using tabs. They're just so lightweight, but you have to be waiting 30 minutes as they treat your water, which can be a pain in the butt. The award for the best pad inflator is the Alpenblow pump. This thing only weighs 8.5 grams, which is kind of crazy. The reason it's so light is because it uses an external power source like your phone or a battery bank in order to power it. It doesn't have any battery built into it, and then also has the trade-off of being pretty slow. You're always gonna have to add at least a few breaths into your pad after using this if you want to get it nice and firm. But it also is pretty quiet, which is kind of the added benefit of that. An alternative, if you want something that's gonna be faster and more powerful, is the Aerogogo Giga Air Pump. It does weigh 4 times as much as the Alpenblow, but is still only just over an ounce. This thing is surprisingly powerful for how tiny it is. I've inflated even the biggest sleeping pads on the market and it handled that no problem, and is pretty reasonably priced at only $45. For the best light, we have the Robivon A5 at only 14 grams. I think flashlights are pretty underrated when it comes to illumination. As long as you're not night hiking, they're gonna be all you really need for around camp, especially in the summer, which is when you're more likely to use an ultralight kit because you're gonna be going to bed when it's just about getting dark or it's still light. I like how lightweight the Robivon is. It has this clip so you can clip it onto your hat and then has a red light built into it as well. An even more ultralight option is using the flashlight on my watch. I already use my watch for navigation and tracking stats, and it saves a lot of weight by not having to bring as much battery, which I'd need if I was using my phone in order to navigate. And watches like the Garmin Fenix 8 now have the flashlights built right into them. Not only does it have a white light, but it also has a red light, which is great for if you're going around camp and don't want to wake up everyone around you. During the summer months, this is all I really need because I'm going to bed before it gets dark, and then the only thing I'm using the flashlight for is to shine the light a little bit as I get out of my tent to go pee, potentially in the middle of the night. For the best battery bank award, we have the Nitecore 6000. This thing is insanely lightweight at only 89 grams. It's basically one of the lightest power banks on the market that you can get. It does have the trade-off of only having one USB-C port, but if you're going on a shorter trip where a 6000 milliamp power bank is gonna get you through most of the trip, then you're probably not gonna be doing a ton of charging and one port's gonna be enough for you. That's what I found anyways, based on my experience using it with an ultralight kit. If you need something with a little bit more capacity and then two USB-C ports, the FlexTail Zero Power is the lightest and best option on the market right now. It's only 146 grams, a couple grams lighter than the Nitecore NB10000 version 3, and then is a little bit less expensive as well, which is a nice added bonus. The one downside with it is, unlike the NB10000, only one of the USB-C ports can be used for input, which can be a little confusing, and if you don't get it right, can lead to a power bank that doesn't get charged overnight. For the best insulated jacket, we have the Z-Packs down jacket. There's only so many ways you can make a bag of down lightweight, but Z-Packs has managed to do that with their down jacket by just using very lightweight materials, yet it still is fully featured. You have a full zipper, you have a hood, and then you have two hand pockets, which I like. I like having those extra little features, and I don't just want a down sweater because being able to put on a hood at night in order to keep your head warm is nice. And then the hand pockets are really nice if it's a little bit colder and you need to keep your hands warm while you're boiling water or your freeze-dried meal is rehydrating. And the Z-Packs down jacket is decently inexpensive relative to some of the other super ultralight down jackets on the market. For the best rain jacket, we have the Rockfront Rain Hoodie. This thing's unique in the fact that it doesn't use a waterproof breathable membrane. It's just nylon with a silicone coating on the outside and then a PU coating on the inside, so it doesn't breathe at all. But to make up for that, it has giant mechanical ventilation. So you have a really big chest zipper and then two full-length side armpit zips that just go down your side, so you can really open this thing up and dump a lot of heat. The benefits of this jacket being non-breathable is that it doesn't use any DWR that can fail and then lead to the jacket wetting out, and there's no PFAS with it, which you'd get with a membrane or DWR treatments. Now let's jump into my favorite part of this entire video, and that's giving away the gold, silver, and bronze awards. For the bronze award, we have the Z-Pack Solo Quilt. I was resistant to this quilt for years, even though I knew it was one of the lightest options on the market, just because of how lightweight it looked, and I thought it wasn't gonna keep me warm. But after testing it over a lot of nights over the course of this summer, it does keep me warm, and it's super lightweight. I love the fact that I now have a quilt that is lighter than any other quilt that I've owned that can get me down to freezing and is still very functional. For the silver award, we have the Big Sky Ultralight pillow with the updated version with those tabs on the side for the pad strap. It's a phenomenal pillow. I'm not having to jerry-rig my own thing with stickers, and I think it's really the best option for ultralight backpacking. The gold award goes to the Durston Wapta 30. I've fallen more and more in love with this pack over the last couple of years of using it, and what I've found this summer is that I can use it for longer trips. I used it on a 4-day trip where I brought some luxury items like a comfortable sleeping pad and a chair, and it carried the weight really well. I found that I was comfortable in it, and I still loved all of the features that it has, like the bottom pocket, the shoulder strap pockets, the accessible side pockets. It's just an all-around really well-designed pack, and I love that I could use it with a heavier gear loadout on a longer trip. Go check out this video where I talk about my experience using a super ultralight sleep system on a 4-day trip. The pad, quilt, and pillow all only weigh 1.5 pounds, yet are still pretty comfortable and warm. And I was pretty surprised at the standout item out of those three.